When a woman ignores you, it's one of the most frustrating experiences a man can face. Your instincts might tell you to act fast, fix things or win her back, but these knee-jerk reactions are often the biggest mistakes you can make. In the modern dating world, women test men more than ever. They want to see if you're the kind of man who can remain composed under pressure, or if you'll crumble the moment she pulls away. Most men fail these tests not because they're bad guys, but because they don't understand the psychology behind her behavior. A woman ignoring you isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's an opportunity. This is your moment to show that you're not like every other man, who falls apart when faced with a little distance. How you respond to this situation can either raise her attraction to you or destroy it completely. The choice is yours. This video is going to reveal the 5 mistakes you absolutely cannot afford to make when she ignores you. These aren't random tips, they are the hard truths that separate the men who succeed in relationships from those who constantly get ghosted, ignored, or taken for granted. If you're tired of chasing women who don't seem to care, or if you want to take back control of your dating life, this is the lesson you need. You'll learn how to stay in control, maintain your masculine frame, and turn the tables in your favor. Forget about overthinking or second-guessing. This is about teaching you how to handle the situation with clarity, strength, and confidence. Let's dive into these mistakes so you never lose power again. When a woman starts to ignore you, mistake 1: over-texting or over-communicating. When she ignores you, your first instinct might be to reach out repeatedly. You tell yourself, if I just say the right thing, she'll respond. This mindset is a trap. Bombarding her with texts, calls, or messages only shows desperation, insecurity, and a lack of emotional control. The moment you over-communicate, you hand over all your power, confirming her belief that you'll chase her no matter what. Women aren't drawn to men who beg for attention. They're attracted to men who maintain their value, even when tested by over-texting. You failed the test. You communicate that her validation matters more than yourself. Respect, and that's the fastest way to kill her attraction. Think of it this way: if you're constantly chasing her, when does she have time to miss you? She doesn't. Instead of letting the silence build tension, you smother it with excessive communication, which makes you look weak. The better approach is silence. Resist the urge to text her after the first message is ignored. She knows you sent it, let her sit with your absence. Women are naturally curious creatures, and they'll notice when you stop chasing. It creates intrigue and forces her to question her assumptions about you. Is he busy? Is he losing interest? These are the thoughts you want running through her mind, not why won't this guy leave me alone? Understand this: no response is a response. If she's ignoring you, she's sending a message. Instead of reacting emotionally, take a step back and assess the situation. Maybe she's testing you, or maybe she's genuinely uninterested. Either way, over-communicating never helps. A man who values his time and energy doesn't chase someone who isn't reciprocating effort. He sets boundaries and walks away when necessary. That's what makes him attractive. Don't explain yourself. Don't double text, and don't ask why she's not replying. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Let her feel your absence. It's far more powerful than begging for her attention. Mistake 2: trying to win her back. When a woman ignores you, many men make the critical mistake of trying to win her back. They shift into overcompensation mode, pulling out grand gestures, or bending over backward to prove their worth. Whether it's buying her gifts, showering her with compliments, or making promises you weren't planning to keep, this behavior sends one clear message: you're desperate. Desperation is one of the least attractive traits a man can display. It tells her that you don't value yourself, and that your happiness hinges on her approval. Women don't respect men who put them on a pedestal and treat them as if their absence will ruin your life. The moment she feels like she has the upper hand, her interest plummets. Here's the hard truth: attraction isn't something you can force by over-delivering or trying to convince her to stay. Attraction is built on respect and mystery, and trying to win her back destroys both. The more you chase, the more she feels in control, and the less she respects you. A woman needs to feel like she's with a man who has options, not someone who would do anything to keep her. Instead of trying to win her back, take a step back, focus on yourself, your goals, and the things that make you a high-value man. Hit the gym, dive into your passions, and spend time with friends. When a woman sees you thriving without her, it creates a sense of fear that she may lose someone who doesn't need her validation to feel whole. The key is to maintain your composure and keep your focus. Don't text her lengthy apologies or explanations. Don't try to remind her of how great you are, with constant reminders of your past interactions. That's not how attraction works. Instead, let your actions speak for themselves. When she sees that you haven't crumbled in her absence, she'll question her decision to ignore you. A man who knows his worth never feels the need to convince someone to stay. He operates from a place of abundance, not scarcity. If she chooses to ignore you, her loss, not yours. Stop chasing what you already deserve. When you remain confident and secure in who you are, you'll find that she either comes back on her own or makes room for someone who truly values what you bring to the table. Either way, you win. Mistake 3: reacting out of anger or frustration. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to let your emotions get the best of you. Anger, frustration, and even hurt pride can lead you to react impulsively, lashing out or trying to guilt her into responding. You might send passive-aggressive messages, post attention-seeking content on social media, or even confront her with questions like, "Why are you ignoring me?" These reactions may feel justified in the moment, but they do nothing to improve the situation. In fact, they make things worse. Reacting out of anger immediately tells her that she has power over you. It shows that her ignoring you has affected your emotional state so much that you've lost control. Men who lack control over their emotions appear weak and immature, traits that are deeply unattractive. Women respect men who can maintain their composure, even when faced with disappointment or rejection. Losing your cool only confirms that she made the right choice in ignoring you. Another problem with emotional reactions is that they come across as needy. When you get angry or frustrated, the underlying message you're sending is, "Your attention is so important to me that I can't function without it." This frame puts you in the weaker position, and no amount of emotional outbursts will shift the power dynamic back in your favor. The better strategy is to remain calm and composed. Silence is your best weapon in this situation. If she's ignoring you, let her. Don't feed into the drama by reacting emotionally. Instead, focus on being unbothered. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending not to care. It means channeling your energy into something productive, rather than letting her behavior dictate your actions. For example, instead of blowing up her phone or venting on social media, invest that time in yourself. Go to the gym, work on your personal projects, or spend time with people who actually value you. When she sees that her ignoring you hasn't shaken your confidence or disrupted your life, it shifts the narrative. She'll begin to wonder why you aren't reacting, and this curiosity often leads her to reinitiate contact. Women are attracted to men who can handle adversity with grace. Your ability to stay calm under pressure signals strength and emotional maturity. It tells her that you're not easily shaken, and that you're the kind of man who can handle challenges without falling apart. Ultimately, reacting out of anger or frustration only weakens your position. A composed, confident man doesn't let someone else's behavior dictate his actions or self-worth. By maintaining your emotional control, you not only preserve your dignity, but also reinforce your value in her eyes. Mistake 4. Seeking validation or apologizing excessively when she ignores you. Some men fall into the trap of seeking validation or over-apologizing to fix the situation. They assume they must have done something wrong, even when there's no evidence to support it. This leads to messages like, "Did I do something to upset you?" Or, "I'm sorry if I've done anything wrong." While you may think this shows maturity or accountability, what it actually communicates is insecurity and self-doubt. Seeking validation shifts the power dynamic entirely in her favor. You're essentially asking her to dictate your worth, which lowers your value in her eyes. A high-value man doesn't rely on someone else's approval to feel confident or worthy. He knows his own value and doesn't feel the need to constantly justify himself or beg for reassurance. Apologizing excessively is just as damaging. Women aren't attracted to men who immediately assume fault and try to patch things up without fully understanding the situation. This behavior screams insecurity and creates the impression that you're walking on eggshells. Just to avoid conflict, women want a man who can stand firm, not someone who crumbles at the first sign of tension. Instead of seeking validation or apologizing unnecessarily, maintain your composure. If you truly believe you've made a mistake, own up to it, but only once, and only if it's warranted. Don't grovel or overcompensate. A single straightforward apology is enough. Anything more than that comes across as weakness and desperation. What you need to understand is that silence can sometimes mean nothing at all. She might be busy testing you or simply unsure of her own feelings. Either way, obsessing over her response and seeking validation won't change the outcome. It'll only make you seem less attractive. The best move here is self-assurance. Assume you've done nothing wrong, unless there's clear evidence to the contrary. Give her the space to miss you and realize your absence. Don't beg for explanations or her attention. Let her come to you on her own terms. Ultimately, your confidence is what matters. Women are drawn to men who carry themselves with certainty and don't need constant reassurance. By avoiding the mistake of seeking validation or over-apologizing, you position yourself as a man who knows his worth. And that's incredibly attractive. Mistake 5, trying to make her jealous. When a woman ignores you, many men resort to making her jealous. In an attempt to regain her attention, they start posting photos with other women, bragging about their social life, or dropping hints about how desirable they are. On the surface, this may seem like a smart move, After all, creating competition might spark her interest, right? Wrong. This tactic often backfires and makes you look petty, immature and insecure. The problem with trying to make her jealous is that it's transparent. Women are highly intuitive, and they can spot when a man is putting on a show to get a reaction. Instead of seeing you as high value, she'll see someone who's trying too hard to appear desirable. The effort you put into crafting the illusion of a fun, fulfilling life sends a loud message. You're not actually confident or content, and you need her attention to validate your worth. What's worse, this tactic can lead to long-term damage. If she does feel jealous, her reaction may not be the one you want. She might see your behavior as manipulative or immature and decide you're not worth her time. Alternatively, she could decide to play the same game, pushing you further into a toxic cycle of one-upping each other, rather than building a healthy dynamic. The better approach is to live authentically. If you're truly a high-value man, your actions will speak for themselves. Focus on your goals, hobbies, and passions, not for her benefit, but for your own. If you're genuinely living a fulfilling life, it will naturally attract her attention without you needing to force the issue. One of the most attractive traits in a man is indifference to outside validation. When a woman sees that you're not seeking her reaction, it piques her curiosity. Why? Because true confidence is rare. Most men scramble to prove themselves. But the man who doesn't play games stands out. He's the one who lives his life unapologetically, not to impress anyone, but because he's driven by his own ambitions. If you want to capture her interest, focus on building your value, not faking it, whether that means improving your fitness, advancing your career, or deepening your personal interests. Your energy should go toward becoming the best version of yourself. Women are drawn to men who are self-sufficient and content on their own. By avoiding the trap of trying to make her jealous, you project emotional maturity and confidence, two qualities that are irresistible. Let her come to you naturally, intrigued by the man who doesn't need to manipulate or seek validation. That's the true mark of a high-value man. Mistake 6. Waiting around for her to respond. One of the worst mistakes a man can make when a woman ignores him is putting his life on hold, waiting for her to respond. This passive behavior signals that her attention is the center of your universe, and without it, you're stuck in limbo. Women are highly perceptive. They can sense when a man's life revolves around them, and it's a massive turn-off. It screams neediness and a lack of purpose. The harsh reality is that waiting around accomplishes nothing. If she's ignoring you, her focus isn't on you. And sitting idle only lowers your value in her eyes. Women are attracted to men who are proactive and goal-oriented, not those who waste time brooding over unanswered messages or obsessing about what went wrong. When you wait around, you're not just losing time, you're losing respect, both hers and your own. The modern dating world rewards men who prioritize themselves and their ambitions. A high-value man never places his life on hold for someone who isn't reciprocating effort. Instead of sitting by your phone, replaying every interaction in your head, take that energy and channel it into improving your own life. Hit the gym, focus on your career, pick up a new skill, or spend time with friends who bring value to your life. Your time is your most precious resource, and wasting it waiting for someone else diminishes your power. Understand that your purpose and goal should always come first. A man with a mission exudes confidence and independence, qualities that women find irresistible. By focusing on your own life, You not only take your mind off her silence, but you also send a strong, unspoken message: I don't need you to feel fulfilled. This mindset not only protects your self-worth, but also makes you more attractive. If she eventually reaches out, she'll find a man who has been thriving in her absence, not one who's been wallowing in self-pity. And if she doesn't, that's her loss, not yours. You've spent that time leveling up, becoming a better version of yourself, which increases your value for the next person who enters your life. Remember, waiting around for her to respond gives her all the power. The moment you step away and focus on your own growth, you reclaim that power. You show that you're not dependent on her for happiness or validation. Don't sit in a stagnant place hoping she'll notice. Keep moving forward whether she's in your life or not. Women are drawn to men who are in motion, who are constantly evolving and striving for more. If she's ignoring you, let her. You've got better things to do than waste time waiting for someone who might not see your worth. A man who knows his value never waits. He takes charge of his own life. Mistake 7: changing who you are to please her. When a woman ignores you, it's tempting to believe that if you just adjust your behavior or become what you think she wants, she'll suddenly notice you. This might mean toning down your personality, adopting her interests, or going out of your way to match her preferences. While this approach may seem logical on the surface, it's one of the quickest ways to lose her respect and yourself in the process. Changing who you are to please a woman is a betrayal of your authenticity. Women are naturally drawn to men who are confident in their identity, who stand firm in their values, and who live life on their terms. The moment you start altering yourself to fit her mold, you send a clear signal that you don't believe in your own worth. You're essentially telling her, I'll do anything to win your approval, and that, my friend, is unattractive. The truth is, women respect men who set the tone and live by their own standards. When you compromise who you are to fit her expectations, you weaken the foundation of your identity. You're no longer the man she was initially attracted to. You become a version of yourself that's dependent on her validation. Ironically, the more you try to accommodate her, the less likely she is to value or desire you. Instead of adapting to her preferences, focus on being unapologetically yourself. If she's ignoring you because of who you genuinely are, then she's not the right fit for you. A high-value man doesn't compromise his integrity to win anyone over. He stays true to his beliefs, passions, and goals, knowing that the right woman will be drawn to him for who he is, not for who he pretends to be. This doesn't mean you should refuse to grow or improve. Growth is essential, but it should come from a desire to better yourself, not from a need to please someone else. The key is to differentiate between healthy self-improvement and bending over backward to fit someone else's expectations. One is a sign of strength, the other weakness. When a woman sees that you won't change your essence to win her attention, she'll recognize your confidence and self-respect. She'll understand that you're not a man who's easily swayed, and that makes you more desirable. Women don't want a doormat. They want a man with conviction, someone who can challenge them and stand firm in his identity. By staying true to yourself, you reclaim your power. If she chooses to remain distant, you haven't lost anything, because you've kept your integrity intact. And if she returns, it'll be because she sees the value in who you truly are, not in the facade you think she wants. Never let a woman's silence make you question your worth or identity. You are enough as you are, and the right woman will see and appreciate that. Hold your ground, stay authentic, and let the chips fall where they may. That's the hallmark of a man who knows his value. In conclusion, when a woman ignores you, the key is to maintain your composure and self-respect. Avoid the common mistakes of overchasing, seeking validation, reacting emotionally, or trying to control the outcome. Instead, focus on strengthening yourself and living authentically. The right woman will be drawn to your confidence and independence. And if she doesn't appreciate your value, it's her loss. Remember, your time and energy are valuable. Don't waste them on someone who isn't willing to invest in you. Stand firm in your worth, and let the right person come to you on your terms. Comment the mistakes you've made in the past, or probably making now, in the comments below. Let's correct them. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time. This historic approach to life